I found many things there that connected with what I was looking for or looking into, and that then got me interested. So I had a awkward relation to movement before, and so I was never really a mover or dancer, and did not really connect with that naturally. But basically through the work as digital artist, and then later on in Motion Bank, the work that we did as research there, helped me see other things in that movement and raise other questions that I didn't see before, and that really got me interested and helped me get into the field. So, and since then, I mean, since 2011, we had a very active first phase in Motion Bank that ended around 2014, and then we restarted Motion Bank around 2016 in Mainz at the Hochschule. So that's always ongoing since then, basically.
I see. So you said about like, how to say, like familiarizing yourself with dance, and so it's not just like you're working as a programmer person, but you have agency to do more than that, it sounds like.
Yeah, I never was interested in programming by itself. So my interest in technology was always what it affords, what it enables you to do, and basically that, triggered my tinkering nerve, and so it was always about getting things done rather than just doing things. And so I think I arrived with that perspective in Motion Bank, and we were happy to do things non-technical if it made more sense, but also just use technology wherever needed. So it was never really a question about technology by itself. It was more a question about how can you answer specific questions.
And
how
for
can
example, what are the questions while like working with
William? That's a really vast field. I think the most basic question is what can you actually capture, and that question has already been raised. Writing things down, or just trying to remember things, or taking photos, or doing videotaping, and so forth. And it continues with motion capture and all these other technologies. So, what can you actually see, which is a question of what you know and what your own perspective is, what you basically bring to the table by yourself. And then how can you capture anything of that when looking at dance or any other performative form. And so those were the main basic, the main core question, I guess. Yeah. And that, and it unfolds from there.
I see. And do you think that's answered, or to be answered all the time?
No, because I think that's the wrong sort of this impression, or we have this question coming up quite often, that people feel, you developed this system and it now records dance. Isn't this done? But we don't have a system that records dance because I think it's not possible to do this just. Either you do it in a very broad sense, so like a video camera, okay, it records dance because it's just there and records something. So then, yes, we have a system to help record dance or document dance. But on the other hand, the specific things about one piece or even one performance, one moment in time, that cannot be easily generalized, and maybe should not even be tried to be generalized. And so it's an ongoing process of extending the toolkit and the language and the thinking about how to document things. So the question, the answer to your question is, I don't think it's ever gonna be answered
Right.
or done.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. And that leads to like another question that I want to ask you. Like, what do you think is the future of dance and technology, or like what do you want to see in the future?
I think that there is a sort of fatigue with, using technology and all these discussions around technology, and that sort of obfuscates the possibilities that lie in it. And I think we should not get, not be bored by technology and not be, abandoning technology just because it is there. So I don't see that gap between documenting as text or video or with other means like motion capture anymore. And I'm kind of tired of that discussion. Technology, non-technological. So I think for the future, maybe just be curious. I mean, just continue to be curious and see what things allow you to do, and find that out and apply it and see what comes up and go from there. So even with AI and all these discussions around that, I think it's just another technology and it's just another tool or another way of looking at things. It might be huge and miraculous and whatever PR adds to it, but in the end, it's just a software.
And there'll be another.
Yeah, so don't get scared away, but also don't reject things just because they look technical or so. If it makes sense to use motion capture, use motion capture. If it doesn't make sense, then don't use it. So basically, I think my plea would be to look at the content first. That's always anyway the best recommendation, but it's kind of obvious. But go from the inside out and not try to apply your beloved tool number one to everything that you find.
I see. But that's from the technical, like, perspective, technical, or like someone who works with technology, or like with dancers as well, or maybe both.
Yeah, I think it also applies to art making and any other approach. It's not only documenting or supporting dance that this is relevant. I think even if you work with specific techniques or technology, that should not become your prison. I mean, I think it's always about what you're interested in, what you feel, what your concepts are, what you're responding to, what your knowledge is, your point in life, and all these things that matter. And you shouldn't, just because you learned one software, that shouldn't dictate how you look at things. So I think my plea would be for openness. Yeah.
I see. And kind of going backward, we talked about future, but what are you working on right now, or what do you want to work on?
I don't know. That's my weak spot at the moment. Not that I don't have any idea what to work on, but I don't really. It's so the work I've done so far, or the last couple of years, was very administrative and organizational, and it enabled many things, and many things for many people. But I'm sort of a bit tired at the moment, so I have to find a way to re-energize and see, where the sparks connect and what to do next. So I don't really have an answer, except for that I'm working on what I want to do next.
I
Yeah.
see, I see. But you don't have like a concrete idea if you have like time to work on something.
No. I mean, there's so much thing going on, being busy here in school and with
Right.
teaching and the family and everything, so that there is not so much time to spend with these things at the moment. So it's really hard to, if you have an hour off of everything, to use that hour for, working on your own stuff instead of just watching TV or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it just needs a little. I think the process is getting slower. So when I was younger, the circumstances were different. So I guess jumping at things and just doing things was way easier than it's now. So if I wanted to go for something, it just needs much more time to do it. Not only because there's so many things in between, but also because I'm way slower with deciding what I want to do.
I see. But is that like, how do you say, like it doesn't have to always have takeaway, but I don't know. I don't want to sound arrogant or like anything, but like, did you learn something from this? Like this kind of different pace and different way of seeing life, or I don't know what it means, but
Yeah, I mean, I think you just have to. It is up to yourself to decide which way you go, mostly. Or let's say, in our privileged situation that we have, being a fully tenured professor, I have some room for decisions how I want to proceed with these things. So I guess the way we did things the last years was totally okay for me, and that's what I decided on. So I guess you kind of have to accept also this kind of change in your own career or life or way of working. And I totally do that. It's just I'm just at a moment where this kind of I have more. I have a little more time now than I used to have the last years, and I just have to make up my mind on what things I want to spend time with, and what I want to think about. So, yeah.
but that's exciting.
It is. I think it's a good thing. It's not being not being able to just go about everything that you find and stuff is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a different pace, and it's also. I have we're as Motion Bank as a team, we are at a very nice space and place now that allows us to also facilitate things that we couldn't do before. So that all this administrative and organizational work, which was not interesting by itself, allowed us to reach a certain point now that we can facilitate things like the CCLs or spawn new research or help people with their own research that was not possible before. So it's also important to always kind of see that as an achievement.
Totally. Because I just wanted to say thank you because for the interview, but also like when I got into like dance and technology, that was the basically the CCO in 2015, 10
Nice.
years ago was the like really the big not turning point. It's just like a big opportunity, and I learned a lot. It was like so nice that I had very different expectation when I was joining, and then the first day, I still remember, you know, you and Scott was talking about the Deborah Hayes piece, like the project with her, and I was like, wow, this is not what I expected. Like, why are we talking about sales?
Yeah, true.
And it's really, yeah, I think this CCL format, this kind of thing is really needed.
Yeah, we think so too, and like in terms of, you know, not my personal thing, but the Motion Bank perspective. After Corona, with so many formats having died out, or, you know, also newer generations and a change in communication leading to people being more dispersed and you know, less coming together in person. I think there's a huge need for communities and being together and spending, you know, high quality time. And the CCLs can do that. It's, you know, just one possibility of how to do that. But I think they're needed, and we're looking into ways of kind of stabilizing that. So we jokingly talked about something like a CCL Institute, for example, that would be able to do, you know, to have a ready set space and, you know, everything available at hand right away, where you could, let's say, twice a year have a CCL and just maybe even, you know, have something like a residency or something that would help people with getting there and being able to connect, because that's also a huge barrier still that we could not resolve so far. But yeah, so kind of, you know, turn that from a thing that happens from time to time and here and there into something more stable and solid. Yeah.
I see. Yeah, I hope that I can also contribute in some ways. And let's see, we talk about this is a 15th anniversary of
Motion Bank, yes.
Motion Bank, and for me the 10th anniversary joining CCL.
Yeah.
But I guess it's also like good to see like what's coming up, and we will celebrate 20 years, 30 years with I don't know.
Hopefully, yes, totally.
No, I mean not that we need to do this and that, but yeah, it's always opening up and having more people like interesting people involved in this community kind of work. I'm really interested, and yeah, also like from my position, I see that back then I was like trying to take everything from the opportunity, and now I'm like trying to give back if that's possible.
Yeah, yeah, which is super. Yeah,
thanks.
It's super. It's absolutely needed, and it's something that, you know, not everybody's able to do, both in terms of, you know, themselves as a person, you know, being able to share as a perspective, but also, you know, you making the effort and always coming to the CCLs, and outside of that also you're sharing a lot, and you're you know, you're out there, you're visible, you make things available, and also that, you know, opens yourself up to it, to critique and, you know, questions that come up, and you've always been very open with that. So that's really something that I've always felt is super special. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So yeah, thank you for the interview, and I will close it now. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm here.
Rejoin.